Good evening and welcome to week 14 of Plaguespeare and Company. Tonight we are pleased to bring you an early comedy of Shakespeare's, first produced in the mid-1590s for Queen Elizabeth, Love's Labour's Lost. We hope you enjoy it.
Let fame, that all hunt after in their lives, live registered upon our brazen tombs, and then grace us in the disgrace of death. When spite of cormorant devouring time, the endeavor of this present breath may buy that honor which shall bait his scythe's keen edge, and make us heirs to all eternity. Therefore, brave conquerors, for so you are, that war against your own affections, and the huge army of the world's desires, our late edict shall strongly stand in force. Navarre shall be the wonder of the world. Our court shall be a little academy, still and contemplative in living art. You three, Berowne, Dumaine, and Longaville, have sworn for 3 years' term to live with me, my fellow scholars, and to keep those statutes that are recorded in this schedule here. Your oaths are passed, and now subscribe your names, that his own hand may strike his honor down that violates the smallest branch herein. If you are armed to do as sworn to do, subscribe to your deep oaths, and keep it too.
I am resolved. 'Tis but a 3 years' fast. The mind shall banquet, though the body pine. Fat paunches have lean pates, and dainty bits make rich the ribs, but bankrupt quite the wits.
My loving lord, Dumaine is mortified. The grosser nature of these world's delight, he throws upon the gross world's basest slaves. To love, to wealth, to pomp, I pine and die, with all these living things in philosophy.
I can say but the protestation over so much, dear liege. I have already sworn, that is, to live and study here 3 years, but there are other strict observances. Is not to see a woman in that term, which I hope well is not enrolled there. And 1 day in a week to touch no food, and but 1 meal on every day beside, the which I hope is not enrolled there. And then to sleep but 3 hours in the night, and not be seen to wink of all the day, when I was wont to think no harm all night, and make a dark night too of half the day, which I hope is well not enrolled there. Oh, these are barren tasks, too hard to keep. Not to see ladies, study, fast, not sleep.
Your oath is passed to pass away from these.
Let me say no, my liege, and if you please, I only swore to study with your grace and stay here in your court for 3 years' space.
You swore to that, Berowne, and to the rest.
Oh, by yea and nay, sir. Then I swore in jest. What is the end of study? Let me know.
Why, that to know which else we should not know.
The things hid and barred, you mean from common sense?
Aye, that is study's godlike recompense.
Oh, come on then. I will swear to study so, to know the thing I am forbid to know. As thus, to study where I well may dine, when I to feast expressly am forbid, or study where to meet some mistress fine, when mistresses from common sense are hid, or having sworn too hard a keeping oath, study to break it, and not break my troth. If study's gains be thus, and this be so, study knows that which yet it doth not know. Swear me to this, and I will ne'er say no.
These be the stops that hinder study quite, and train our intellects to vain delight.
Why? All delights are vain, but most vain, which, with pain purchased, doth inherit pain. As painfully to pore upon a book, to seek the light of truth, while truth the while doth falsely blind the eyesight of his look. Light, seeking light, doth light of light beguile. So ere you find where light and darkness lies, your light grows dark by losing of your eyes. Study me how to please your eye indeed, by fixing it upon a fairer eye, who, dazzling so, that eye shall be his heed, and give it him light that it was blinded by. Study is like the heaven's glorious sun, that will not be deep searched with saucy looks. Small have continual plotters ever won, save base authority from others' books. These earthly godfathers of heaven's light, that give a name to every fixed star, have no more profit of their shining nights than those that walk in what not what they are. Too much to know is to know not but fame, and every godfather can give a name.
How well he's read, to reason against reading.
Proceeded well, to stop all good proceedings.
He weeds the corn and still lets grow the weeding.
The spring is near when green geese are a-breeding.
How follows that?
Well, fit in his place and time.
Well, they... is reason nothing?
Something then in rhyme?
Berowne is like an envious sneaping frost that bites the firstborn infants of the spring.
Well, say I am. Why should proud summer boast before the birds have any cause to sing? Why should I joy in any abortive birth? At Christmas, I no more desire a rose than wish a snow in May's newfangled shows. But, like of each new thing, in season grows. So you, to study now, it is too late. Climb o'er the house and unlock the little gate.
Well, sit you out. Go home, Berowne. Adieu.
No, no, my good lord, I have sworn to stay with you. And though I have for barbarism spoke more than for that angel knowledge you can say, yet, confident, I'll keep what I have sworn, and bide the penance of each 3 years' day. Give me the paper. Let me read the same.
How well this yielding rescues thee from shame.
Item, that no woman will come within a mile of my court. Hath this been proclaimed?
4 days ago.
Ooh, let's see the penalty. On pain of losing her tongue. Who devised this penalty?
Mary, that did I.
Sweet Lord, and why?
To fright them hence with that dread penalty.
A dangerous law against gentility. Item, if any man be seen to talk with a woman within the term of 3 years, he shall endure such public shame as the rest of the court can possibly devise. This article, my liege, yourself must break. For well you know, here comes an embassy, the French king's daughter, with yourself to speak, a maid of grace and complete majesty, about surrender of Aquitaine to her decrepit, sick, and bedrid father. Therefore, this article is made in vain, or vainly comes the admired princess hither.
What say you, lords? Why, this was quite forgot.
So study evermore is overshot. While it doth study to have what it would, it doth forget to do the thing it should. And when it hath the thing it hunteth most, 'tis one as towns with fire, so won, so lost.
We must of force dispense with this decree. She must lie here on mere necessity.
Necessity will make us all forsworn 3,000 times within 3 years' space. For every man with his effects born, not by might mastered, but by special grace. If I break faith, this word shall speak for me. I am forsworn on mere necessity. So the laws at large, I write my name. And he that breaks them in the least degree stands an attainder of eternal shame. Suggestions are to other as to me. But I believe, although I seem loath, I am the last that will keep his oath. But is there no quick recreation granted?
Aye, that there is. Our court, you know, is haunted with a refined traveler of Spain, a man in all the world's new fashion planted, that hath a mint of phrases in his brain. One who the music of his own vain tongue doth ravish like enchanting harmony. A man of compliments, whom right and wrong have chose as empire of their mutiny. That child of fancy, that Armado hight, for interim to our studies shall relate, in high-born words, the worth of many a knight from tawny Spain, lost in the world's debate. How you delight, my lords, I know not, but I protest, I love to hear him lie, and I will use him for my minstrelsy.
Armado is a most illustrious wight, a man of fire new words, fashion's own knight.
Costard the swain, and he shall be our sport, and so to study 3 years is but short.
Which is the Duke's own person?
This fellow, what wouldst?
I myself reprehend his own person, for I am his Grace's Farborough. But I would see his own person in flesh and blood.
This is he.
Signor Arm commends you. There's villainy abroad. This letter shall tell you further.
Sir, the contempts thereof are as touching me.
A letter from the magnificent Armado!
How low soever the matter, I hope in God for high words.
A high hope for a low heaven. God grant us patience.
To hear or forbear hearing?
To hear meekly, sir, and to laugh moderately, or to forbear both.
Well, sir, be it as the style shall give us cause to climb in the merriness.
The matter is to me, sir, as concerning Jaquenetta, the matter of it is, I was taken with the manner.
In what manner?
In manner and form following, sir, all those three. I was seen with her in the manor house, sitting with her upon the form, and taken following her into the park, which put together is a manner and form following. Now, sir, for the manner. It is the manner of a man to speak to a woman, for the form, in some form.
For the following, sir?
As it shall follow in my correction, and God defend the right.
Will you hear this letter with attention?
As we would hear an oracle.
Such is the simplicity of man to hearken after the flesh.
Great deputy, the Welkin's vice-regent and sole dominator of Navarre, my soul earth's god and body's fostering patron.
Not a word of Costard yet.
So it is.
It may be so, but if he say it is so, he is in telling true, but so.
Peace.
To be to me and every man that dares not fight.
No words.
Of other men's secrets, I beseech you.
So it is. Besieged with sable-colored melancholy, I did commend the black oppressing humor to the most wholesome physic of thy health-giving air, and, as I am a gentleman, betook myself to walk. The time when, about the 6th hour, when beasts most graze, birds best peck, and men sit down to that nourishment which is called supper. So much for the time when. Now for the ground which I walked upon. It is eclipsed thy park. Then for the place where I did encounter that obscene and most preposterous event, that draweth from my snow-white pen the ebon-colored ink which here thou viewest, beholdest, surveyest, or seest. But to the place where it standeth, north-northeast, and by east from the west corner of thy curious knotted garden, there did I see that low-spirited swain, that base minnow of my mirth.
Me?
That unlettered, small-knowing soul.
Me?
That shallow vassal.
Still me?
Which, as I remember, hight Costard.
Oh, me.
Sorted and consorted, contrary to thy established proclaimed edict and continent canon, which but with this I passion to say wherewith?
With a wench.
With a child of our grandmother Eve. A female. Or, for thy more sweet understanding, a woman. him I, as my ever esteemed duty pricks me on, have sent to thee, to receive the meed of punishment by thy sweet grace's officer, Anthony Dull, a man of good repute, carriage, bearing, and estimation.
Me, and it shall please you, I am Anthony Dull.
For Jaquenetta, so is the weaker vessel called, which I apprehended with the aforesaid swain, I keep her as a vessel of thy law's fury, and shall, at the least of thy sweet notice, bring her to trial. Thine, in all compliments of devoted and heart-burning heat of duty, Don Adriano d'Armado.
This is not so well as I looked for, but the best that ever I heard.
Aye, the best for the worst. But, sirrah, what say you to this?
Sir, I confess the wench.
Did you hear the proclamation?
I do confess much of the hearing it, but little of the marking of it.
It was proclaimed a year's imprisonment to be taken with a wench.
I was taken with none, sir. I was taken with a damsel.
Well, it was proclaimed damsel.
This was no damsel neither, sir. She was a virgin.
It is so varied, too, for it was proclaimed virgin.
If it were, I deny her virginity. I was taken with a maid.
This maid will not serve your turn, sir.
This maid will serve my turn, sir.
Sir, I will pronounce your sentence. You shall fast a week with bran and water.
I had rather pray a month with mutton and porridge.
And Don Armado shall be your keeper. My lord Berowne, see him delivered o'er, and go we, lords, to put in practice that which each to each other hath so strongly sworn.
I'll lay my head to any good man's hat. These oaths and laws will prove an idle scorn. Sirrah, come on.
I suffer for the truth, sir, for true it is. I was taken with Jaquenetta, and Jaquenetta is a true girl, and therefore welcome the sour cup of prosperity. Affliction may one day smile again, and till then, sit thee down, sorrow.
Boy, what sign is it when a man of great spirit grows melancholy?
A great sign, sir, that he will look sad.
Ah, why? Sadness is one and the self-same thing, dear imp.
No, oh Lord, sir, no.
How canst thou part sadness and melancholy, my tender juvenal?
By a familiar demonstration of the working, my tough senior.
Why tough senior, why tough senior?
Why tender juvenile, why tender juvenile?
I spoke it, tender juvenal, as a congruent epitheton appertaining to thy young days, which we may nominate tender.
And I, tough senior, as an appurtenant title to your old time, which we may name tough.
Ah, pretty and apt.
How mean you, sir? I pretty in my saying apt, or I apt in my saying pretty?
Thou pretty because little.
Little pretty because little? Wherefore apt?
And therefore apt because quick.
Speak you this in my praise, master?
In thy condign praise.
I will praise an eel with the same praise.
What? Is an eel ingenious?
That an eel is quick.
I do say thou art quick in answers, thou heatst my blood.
I am answered, sir.
I love not to be crossed.
He speaks the more contrary. Crosses love not him.
I had promised to study 3 years with the Duke.
Oh, you may do it in an hour, sir.
Impossible.
How many is one thrice told?
I am ill at reckoning. It fitted the spirit of a tapster.
You are a gentleman and a gamester, sir.
I confess both. They are both the varnish of a complete man.
Then I am sure you know how much the gross sum of deuce ace amounts to.
It doth amount to one more than 2.
Which the base vulgar do call 3.
True.
Why, sir, is this such a piece of study? Now here is 3 studied ere you'll thrice wink, and how easy it is to put years to the word 3, and study 3 years in 2 words, the dancing horse will tell you.
A most fine figure.
To prove you a cipher.
I will hereupon confess I am in love. And as it is best for a soldier to love, so am I in love with a base wench. If drawing my sword against the humor of affection would deliver me from the reprobate thought of it, I would take desire prisoner and ransom him to any French courtier for a new devised catsie. I think scorn to sigh. Methinks I should outswear Cupid. Comfort me, boy. What great men have been in love?
Hercules, master.
Oh, most sweet Hercules. More authority, dear boy, name more. And sweet, my child, let them be men of good repute and carriage.
Samson, master. He was a man of good carriage, of great carriage, for he carried the town gates on his back like a porter, and he was in love.
Oh, well knit Samson, strongly jointed Samson. I do excel thee in my rapier as much as thou didst me in carrying gates. I am in love too. Who is Samson's love, my dear Moth?
A woman, master.
Of what complexion?
Of all the 4, or the 3, or the 2, or one of the 4.
Tell me precisely of what complexion.
Of the sea water green, sir.
Is that one of the 4 complexions?
As I have read, sir, and the best of them, too.
Green, indeed, is the color of lovers. But to have a love of that color, methinks Samson had small reason for it. He surely affected her for her wit.
Oh, it was so, sir, for she had a green wit.
My love is most immaculate white and red.
Most immaculate thoughts, master, are masked under such colors.
Define, well-educated infant.
My father's wit and my mother's tongue assist me.
Sweet invocation of a child, most pretty and pathetical.
If she be made of white and red, her faults will never be known. For blush in cheeks by faults are bred, and fears by pale white shown. Then if she fear or be to blame, for this you shall not know, for still her cheeks possess the same, which native she doth owe. A dangerous rhyme, master, against the reason of white and red.
Is there not a ballad, boy, of the king and the beggar?
The world was very guilty of such a ballet some 3 ages since, but I think now 'tis not to be found, or if it were, it would neither serve for the writing nor the time. 2.
I will have that subject newly writ o'er, that I may example my digression by some mighty president. Boy, I do love that country girl that I took in the park with the rational hind Costard. She deserves well.
Oh, to be whipped, and yet a better love than my master.
Boy, sing, my spirit grows heavy in love.
And that's great marvel, loving a light wench.
I say sing.
Forbear till this company be past.
Sir, the Duke's own pleasure is that you keep Costard safe, and you must suffer him to take no delight nor no penance, but he must fast three days a week. For this damsel, I must keep her at the park. She is allowed for the day woman. Fare you well.
I do betray myself with blushing. Maid,
Man,
I will visit thee at the lodge.
that's hereby.
I know where it is situate.
Lord, how wise you are.
I will tell thee wonders.
With that face?
I love thee.
So I heard you say.
And so, farewell.
Well, farewell after you.
Come, Jaquenetta, away.
Villain, thou shalt fast for thy offences ere thou be pardoned.
Well, sir, I hope when I do it, I shall do it on a full stomach.
Thou shalt be heavily punished.
I am more bound to you than your fellows, for they are but lightly rewarded.
Take away this villain, shut him up.
Come, you transgressing slave, away.
Let me not be pent up, sir. I will fast, being loose.
No, sir, that were fast and loose. Thou shalt to prison.
Well, if ever I do see the merry days of desolation that I have seen, some shall see.
What shall some see?
Nay, nothing, Master Moat, but what they look upon. It is not for prisoners to be too silent in their words, and therefore I will say nothing. I thank God I have as little patience as another man, and therefore I can be quiet.
I do affect the very ground which is base, where her shoe, which is baser, guided by her foot, which is basest, doth tread. I shall be forsworn, which is a great argument of falsehood, if I love. But how can that be true love which is falsely attempted? Love is a familiar, love is a devil. There is no evil angel but love. Yet was Samson so tempted, and he had an excellent strength. Yet was Solomon so seduced, and he had a very good wit. Cupid's butt shaft is too hard for Hercules' club, and therefore too much at odds for a Spaniard's rapier. The first and second cause will not serve my turn. The passado he respects not, the duello he regards not. His disgrace is to be called a boy, but his glory is to subdue men. Khadu, valor, rust, rapier, be still, drum, fire, manager, is in love, yea, he loveth. Assist me some extemporal god of rhyme, for I am sure I shall turn a sonnet. Devise wit, write pen, for I am for whole volumes in folio.
Now, madam, summon up your dearest spirits, consider who the king, your father, sends, to whom he sends, and what's his embassy. Yourself, held precious in the world's esteem, to parley with the sole inheritor of all perfections that man may owe, matchless Navarre. The plea of no less weight than Aquitaine, a dowry for a queen. Be now as prodigal of all dear grace as nature was in making graces dear when she did starve the general world beside, and prodigally gave them all to you.
Good Lord, Boyet, my beauty, though not but me, needs not painted flourish of your praise. Beauty is bought by judgment of the eye, not uttered by base sale of chapmen's tongues. I am less proud to hear you tell my worth than much willing to be counted wise and spending your wit in the praise of mine. But now to task the tasker. Good Boyet, you are not ignorant. All telling fame doth noise about Navarre hath made a vow, till painfully study shall outwear 3 years, no woman may approach his silent court. Therefore, it seemeth needful, of course, when we enter his forbidden gates, to know his pleasures. And on that behalf, bold as your worthiness, we single you as our best moving fair solicitor. Tell him, the daughter of the King of France, on serious business craving quick dispatch, importunes personal conference with his grace. Haste signifies so much while we attend, like humble-visaged suitors, his high will.
Proud of my employment, willingly I go.
All pride is willing pride, and yours is so. Who are the votaries, my loving lords, that vow fellows this virtuous duke?
Lord Longaville is one.
Oh, know you the man?
I know him, madam. At a marriage feast between Lord Perigord and the beauteous heir of Jacques Falconbridge, solemnized in Normandy, saw I this Longaville, a man of sovereign parts. Peerless, esteemed, well fitted in arts, glorious in arms. Nothing becomes him ill that he would well. The only soil of his fair virtue's gloss, if virtue's gloss will stain with any soil, is a sharp wit matched with too blunt a will, whose edge hath power to cut, whose will still wills it should none spare that come within his power.
Ah, some merry mocking lord belike is so.
Well, they say so most, that most his humors know.
Oh, such short-lived wits do wither as they grow. Who are the rest?
The young Dumaine, a well-accomplished youth of all that virtue loved for virtue loved, most power to do most harm, and least knowing ill. For he hath wit to make an ill shape good, and shape to win grace, though he had no wit. I saw him at the Duke Alison's once, and much too little of that good I saw is my report to his great worthiness.
Another of these students at that time was there with him, if I have heard a truth. Berowne, they call him, but a merrier man within the limit of becoming mirth. I never spent an hour's talk withal. His eye begats occasion for his wit, for every object that the one doth catch, the other turns to a mirth-moving jest, which his fair tongue conceits expositor, delivers in such apt and gracious words that aged ears play truant at his tales, and younger hearings are quite ravished, so sweet and voluble in his discourse.
God bless my ladies. Are they all in love? That every one of her own hath garnished with such bed-necking ornaments of praise?
Oh, here comes Boyet.
Navarre? Sorry. Navarre had notice of your fair approach, and he and his competitors in oath were all addressed to meet you, gentle lady, before I came. Mary, thus much have I learned. He rather means to lodge you in the field, like one that comes here to besiege his court, than to seek a dispensation for his oath to let you enter his unpeopled house. Here comes Navarre.
Fair princess, welcome to the court of Navarre.
Fair, I give you back again, and welcome? I have not yet. The roof of this court is too high to be yours, and welcome to the wide fields, too base to be mine.
You shall be welcome, madam, to my court.
I will be welcome then. Conduct me thither.
Hear me, dear lady. I have sworn an oath.
Our lady help me, my lord. He'll be forsworn.
Not for the world, fair madam, by my will.
My will shall break it, will, and nothing else.
Your ladyship is ignorant what it is.
Were it so, his ignorance were wise, whereas his knowledge must be proved ignorance. I hear your grace has sworn our housekeeping. 'Tis deadly sin to keep that oath, my lord, and sin to break it. But pardon me, I am sudden too bold to teach a teacher, it beseemeth me. Vouchsafe to reach a purpose of my coming, and suddenly resolve me in my suit.
Madam, I will, if suddenly I may.
You will sooner than I were away, for you'll prove perjured if you make me stay.
Did not I dance with you at Brabant once?
Did not I dance with you in Brabant once?
Oh, I know you did.
How needless was it then to ask the question?
Oh, you must not be so quick.
'Tis long of you that spur me with such questions.
Ooh, your wit's too hot. It speeds too fast. 'Twill tire.
Not till it leave the rider in the mire.
Ooh, what time of day?
The hour that fools should ask.
Now fair befall your mask.
Fair fall the face it covers.
and send you many lovers?
Amen. So you be none.
Nay, then I will be gone.
Madam, your father here doth intimate the payment of 100,000 crowns, being but the 1/2 of an entire sum dispersed by my father in his wars. But say that he, or we, as neither have, received that sum, yet there remains unpaid 100,000 more, in surety of the which one part of Aquitaine is bound to us, although not valued to the money's worth. If then the king your father will restore but that 1/2 which is unsatisfied, we will give up our right in Aquitaine, and hold fair friendship with his majesty. But that it seems he little purposeth. For here he doth demand to have repaid 100,000 crowns, and not demands, on payment of 100,000 crowns, to have his title live in Aquitaine, which we much rather had depart withal, and have the money by our father lent, than Aquitaine, so gelded as it is. Dear princess, were not his requests so far from reason's yielding, your fair self should make a yielding gainst some reason in my breast, and go well satisfied to France again?
You do the king my father much too wrong, and the wrong reputation of your name in so seeming to confess receipt of which hath been so faithfully paid.
I do protest I never heard of it, and if you prove it, I'll repay it back, or yield up Aquitaine.
We rest your word. Boyet, you can produce acquaintances for a sum for special offers of Charles his father?
Satisfy me so.
So please, your grace, the packet is not come where that and other specialties are bound. Tomorrow you shall have a sight.
It shall suffice me, at which interview all liberal reason I will yield unto. Meantime, receive such welcome at my hand as honor without breach of honor may make tender of, to thy true worthiness. You may not come, fair princess, within my gates, but here without you shall be so received as you shall deem yourself lodged in my heart. Though so denied fair harbor in my house, your own good thoughts excuse me, and farewell. Tomorrow shall we visit you again.
Sweet health and fair desires consort your grace.
Thy own wish I thee in every place.
Lady, I will commend you to mine own heart.
Pray you, do my commendations. I would be glad to see it.
I would you heard it groan.
Is the fool sick?
Sick at heart.
Alack, let it blood.
Oh, would that do it good?
My physic says I.
Will you prick it with your eye?
No point, with my knife.
Oh, now, God, save thy life.
And yours from long living.
Oh, I cannot stay Thanksgiving.
Sir, I pray you a word. What lady is that same?
The heir of Alison, Katherine is her name.
Oh, a gallant lady. And monsieur, fare you well.
I beseech you a word.
Mm-hmm.
What is she in the white?
A woman sometimes, and you saw her in the light.
Perchance light in the light. I desire her name.
She hath but one for herself. To desire that were a shame.
Pray you, sir, whose daughter?
Her mother's, I have heard.
God's blessing on your beard.
Good sir, be not offended. She is an heir of Falconbridge.
Oh, nay, my collar is ended. She is a most sweet lady.
Not unlike, sir, that may be.
What's her name in the cap?
Rosaline, my good hap.
Is she wedded or no?
To her will, sir, or so.
Oh, you are welcome, sir. Adieu.
Farewell to me, sir, and welcome to you.
At last is Berowne, that merry madcap lord. Not a word with him, but a jest.
And every jest but a word.
It was well done of you to take him at his word.
I was as willing to grapple as he was to board.
2 hot sheeps, marry.
And wherefore not ships? No sheep, sweet lamb, unless We feed on your lips.
You sheep, and I pasture. Shall that finish the jest?
So you grant pasture for me.
Not so, gentle beast. My lips are no common, though several they be.
Belonging to whom?
To my fortunes and me.
Good wits will be jangling, but gentles agree. This civil war of wits were much better used on Navarre and his bookmen, for here 'tis abused.
If my observations, which very seldom lies, by the heart-still rhetoric disclosed with eyes, deceive me not now, Navarre is infected.
With what?
With that which we lovers entitle affected.
Your reason?
All his behaviors did make their retire to the court of his eye, peeping through desire. His heart, like an agate with your print impressed, proud with his form, in his eye pride expressed. His tongue, all impatient to speak and not see, did stumble with haste in his eyesight to be. All senses to that sense did make their repair, to feel only looking on fairest of fair. Methought all his senses were locked in his eye as jewels and crystal for some prince to buy, whose tendering their own worth from where they were glassed did point you to buy them along as you passed. His face's own margin did quote such amazes that all eyes saw his eyes enchanted with gazes. I'll give you Aquitaine and all that is his, and you give him, for my sake, but one loving kiss.
Come to our pavilion. Boyet is disposed.
But to speak that in words which his eye hath disclosed, I only have made a mouth of his eye by adding a tongue which I know will not lie.
Oh, thou art an old love-monger, and speakest skillfully.
He is Cupid's grandfather, and learns news of him.
Then was Venus like her mother, for her father is but grim.
Do you hear, my mad wenches?
No.
What then do you see?
Aye, our way to be gone.
You are too hard for me.
Warble, child, make passionate my sense of hearing.
This old man, he played knick-knack on my thumb with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give the dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. Mares he dotes and little lambs he divey, a kiddly divey too, wouldn't you? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Huh.
Sweet air, no tenderness of years, take this key, give enlargement to the swain, bring him festinately hither. I must employ him in a letter to my love.
Master, will you win your love with a French brawl?
How meanest thou? Brawling in French?
No, my complete master. But to jig off a tune at the tongue's end, canary to it with your feet, humor it with turning up your eyelids, sigh a note and sing a note, sometimes through the throat as if you swallowed love with singing love, sometimes through the nose as if you snuffed up love by smelling love, with your hat penthouse-like, and or the shop of your eyes, with your arms crossed on your thin belly doublet like a rabbit on a spit, or your hands in your pockets like a man after the old painting, and keep not long in one tune, but a snip and away. These are compliments. These are humors. These betray nice wenches that would be betrayed without these, and make them men of note. Do you note? Men that are most are affected to these.
How hast thou purchased this experience?
Oh, by my penny of observation.
Ah, oh, but, oh.
The hobby horses forgot.
Holster, my love, hobby horse?
No, master, the hobby horse is but a colt. And your love perhaps a hackney. Oh, but have you forgot your love?
Almost. I can't.
Negligent students, learn her by heart.
By heart and in heart, boy.
And out of heart, master, all these three I will prove.
What wilt thou prove?
A man, if I live, and by this, by in and without, upon the instant, by heart you love her, because your heart cannot come by her.
Oh.
In heart you love her, because your heart is in love with her.
Oh.
And out of heart you love her, being out of heart that you cannot enjoy her.
I am all these three.
And three times as much more, and yet nothing at all.
Fetch hither the swain. He must carry me a letter.
A message well sympathized, a horse to be an ambassador for an ass.
Ha? What sayest thou?
Marry, sir, you must send the ass upon the horse, for he is very slow-gated. But I go.
The way is but short. Away.
As swift as lead, sir.
The meaning pretty ingenious. Is not lead a metal heavy, dull, and slow?
Mini me, honest master, or rather master, no.
I say lead is slow.
You are too swift, sir, to say so. Is that lead slow which is fired from a gun?
Sweet smoke of a rhetoric. He reputes me, a cannon, and the bullet, that's he. I shoot thee at the swain. Boop.
Thump then, and I flee.
A most acute, juvenile, voluble, and free of grace. By thy favor, sweet welkin, I must sigh in thy face. Most rude melancholy, valor gives thee place. Oh, my herald is returned.
A wonder, master. Here is a costard broken in a shin.
Oh, some enigma, some riddle. Come, thy l'envoy, begin.
No enigma, no riddle, no l'envoy, no salve in the mail, sir. Oh, sir, plenty, a plain plenty. No l'envoy, no salve, sir, but a plenty.
Oh, by virtue, thou enforcest laughter. Thy silly thought, oh, my spleen, the heaving of my lungs provoked me to ridiculous smiling. Oh, pardon me, my stars. Doth the inconsiderate take salve for l'envoy, and the word l'envoy for a salve?
Do the wise think them other? Is not l'envoy a salve?
No, page. It is an epilogue or a discourse to make plain some obscure precedents that has set to fore been seen. I will example it. The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but three. There's the moral. Now, the l'envoy.
That I will add, the l'envoy. Say the moral again.
The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but three.
Until the goose came out of door and stayed at the odds by adding 4. Now will I begin your moral, and do you follow with my l'envoy. The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, but being 3.
Until the goose came out the door, staying the odds by adding 4.
A good l'envoy ending in the goose. Would you desire more?
The boy hath sold him a bargain, a goose that's flat. Sir, your pennyworth is good, and your goose be fat. To sell a bargain well is as cunning as fast and loose. Let me see, a fat l'envoy. Aye, that's a fat goose.
Come here there. How did this argument begin?
By saying that a costard was broken in a shin, then called you for the l'envoy.
True, an eye for a plantain. Thus came your argument in. Then the boy's fat l'envoy, the goose that you bought, and he ended the market.
But tell me, how was there a costard broken in a shin?
Well, I will tell you sensibly.
Thou hast no feeling of it, Moth. I will speak that l'envoy. I, Costard, running out that was safely within, fell over the threshold and broke my shin.
We will talk no more of this matter.
Till there be more matter in the shin.
Sir Costard, I will enfranchise thee.
Oh, marry me to one Francis. I smell some l'envoy, some goose in this.
By my sweet soul, I mean setting thee at liberty, in freedoming thy person. Thou wert immured, restrained, captivated, bound.
True, true. And now you will be my purgation and let me loose?
I give thee thy liberty, set thee from durance, and in lieu thereof impose upon thee nothing but this. Bear this significant to the country maid Jaquenetta. There is remuneration, for the best word of mine honor is rewarding my dependents. Moth, follow.
Like the sequel, Senior Costard, adieu.
My sweet ounce of man's flesh, my pretty jewel. Now will I look to his remuneration. Remuneration. Oh, that's the Latin word for 3 farthings. 3 farthings. Remuneration. What's the price of this inkle? 1 penny. No, I'll give you a remuneration. Why, it carries it. Remuneration. Why, it is a fairer name than French crown. I will never buy and sell out of this word.
My good knave, Costard, exceedingly well met.
Pray you, sir, how much carnation ribbon may a man buy for a remuneration?
What is a remuneration?
Very, sir, a halfpenny farthing.
Oh, why then 3 farthings worth of silk?
I thank your worship. God be with you.
Oh, stay, slave, I must employ thee. As thou wilt win my favor, good my knave, do one thing for me that I shall entreat.
When would you have it done, sir?
This afternoon.
Well, I will do it, sir. Fare you well.
Thou knowest not what it is.
I shall know, sir, when I have done it.
Why, villain, thou must know first.
I will come to your worship tomorrow morning.
It must be done this afternoon. Hark, slave, it is but this. The princess comes to hunt here in the park, and her train there is a gentle lady. When tongue speaks sweetly, and they name her name, and Rosaline they call her, ask for her, and to her white hand see thou do commend this sealed up counsel. There's thy guerdon. Go.
Guerdon. Oh, sweet guerdon. Better than remuneration. 11 pence farthing better. Most sweet guerdon. I will do it, sir, in print. Guerdon. Remuneration. Ah!
Oh, and I, forsooth, in love. I, that have been love's whip, a very beetle to a humorous sigh, a critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant o'er the boy, than whom no mortal so magnificent. This wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this senior junior, a giant dwarf, Dan Cupid, regent of love rhymes, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, liege of all loitiers and malcontents, dread princocks of plackets, king of codpieces, sole imperator of great general, of trotting parators. Oh, my little heart. And I, to be a corporal in his field, and to wear his colors like a tumbler's hoop. What? I love, I sue, I seek a wife, a woman that is like a German clock, still a repairing, ever out of frame, and never going aright, being a watch, but being watched that it may still go right. Made to be perjured, which is worst of all. And among 3 to love the worst of all, a whitely wanton in her velvet brow, with 2 pitch balls stuck into her face for eyes. Aye, and by heaven, one that will do the deed. though Argus were her eunuch and her guard. And I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her, go to. It is a plague that Cupid will impose for my neglect of his almighty, dreadful little might. Well, I will love, write, sigh, pray, sue, groan. Some men must love my lady, and some Joan.
Was that the king that spurred his horse so hard against the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Whoe'er was, showed a mounting mind. Well, lords, today we shall have our dispatch. On Saturday we will return to France. Then, Forester, my friend, where in the bush must we stand and play the murderer in?
Hereby, upon the edge of yonder coppice, a stand where you may make the fairest shoot.
I think, my beauty, I am fair that shoot, and upon the speakest the fairest shoot.
Well, pardon me, madam, for I meant not so.
What? First praise me, and again say no? Oh, short-lived pride, not fair, lack for woe.
Yes, madam, fair.
Never, nay, never paint me now. Whereas fair is not, praise cannot mend the brow. Here, good my glass. Take this for telling true. Fair payment for foul words is more than due.
Nothing but fair is that which you inherit.
See, my beauty will be saved by merit. Is heresy and fair fit for these days? A giving hand, though foul, shall give praise. But come, the bow, no mercy goes to kill, and shooting is well than accounted ill. Thus will I save my credit and shoot. No wounding pretty will not let me do't. If wounding then will to show my skill, there's more praise than purpose meant to kill. And out of question, no, so it is sometimes. Glory grows guilty of detested crimes, for when fame's sake, for praise, an outward part, we do bend the working of the heart. For as I praise alone to seek the spill, the poor dear's blood that my heart means no ill.
Well, do not cursed wives hold that self-sovereignty only for praise's sake when they strive to be lords o'er their lords?
Only for praise, and praise we may afford to any lady that subdues a lord.
Here comes a member of the Commonwealth.
God dig you, Danal. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Thou shalt know her, fellow, by the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady, the highest?
The thickest and the tallest.
The thickest and the tallest. It is so, truth is truth. And your waist, mistress, were as slender as my wit. One of these maids' girdles for your waist should be fit. Are you not the chief woman? You are the thickest here.
What is your will, sir? What is your will?
I have a letter from Monsieur Berowne to one Lady Rosaline.
Oh, thy letter. Here's a good friend of mine. Stand aside, good bearer. Boyet, you can carve, break upon this capon.
I am bound to serve. This letter is mistook. It importeth none here. It is writ to Jaquenetta.
We will read it, I swear. Break the neck of the wax, and everyone give ear.
By heaven, that thou art fair is most infallible. True that thou art beauteous, truth itself that thou art lovely, more fairer than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself, have commiseration on thy heroical vassal. The magnanimous and most illustrate King Cophetua set eye upon the pernicious and indubitate beggar the Nelliphon. And he it was that might rightly say, Veni, vidi, vici, which to anathemize in the vulgar, oh, base and obscure vulgar, vilicet. He came, he saw, and overcame. He came, 1. He saw, 2. Overcame, 3. Who came? The king. Why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. To whom came he? To the beggar. What saw he? The beggar. Who overcame he? Anyone? The beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king's. The captive is enriched. On whose side? The beggar's. The catastrophe is a nuptial. On whose side? The king's. No, on both in one, or in one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou, the beggar, for so witnesseth thy lowliness. Shall I command thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Shall I entreat thy love? I will. What shalt thou exchange for rags? Robes. For tittles? Titles. For thyself? Me. Thus, expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy every part. Thine in the dearest design of industry, Don Adriano de Armado. Thus dost thou near the Nemean lion roar, 'gainst thee, thou lamb that standest at his prey. Submissive fall his princely feet before, and he from forage will incline to play. But if thou strive, poor soul, what art thou then? Food for his rage, repasture for his den.
What plume of feathers is he that indited this letter? What vane? What weathercock? Did you hear better?
I am much deceived, but I remember the style.
Your memory's bad. Going oral a while.
This Armado is a Spaniard that keeps here in the court. A fantasy, a monarcho, and one that makes sport to the prince and his bookmate.
Thou fellow, a word. Who gave thee this letter?
I told you, my lord.
To whom should thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
From my lord Berowne, a good master of mine, to a lady of France that he called Rosaline.
Thou hast mistaken his letter. Come, lords, away. Here, sweet pea, put this. 'Twill be another day.
Who is the shooter? Who is the shooter?
Shall I teach you to know?
I, my continent of beauty.
Why, she that bears the bow, finely put off.
My lady goes to kill horns, but if thou marry, hang me by the neck if horns that year miscarry. Finally put on.
Well, then, I am the shooter.
And who is your dear?
If we choose by the horns, yourself come not near. Finely put on indeed.
You still wrangle with her, Boyet, and she strikes at the brow.
But she herself is hit lower. Have I hit her now?
Shall I come upon thee with an old saying that was a man when King Pippin of France was a little boy, as touching the hit it?
So I may answer thee with one as old. That was a woman when Queen Guinevere of Britain was a little wench, as touching the hit it.
Thou canst not hit it, hit it, hit it. Thou canst not hit it, my good man.
And I cannot, and I cannot, another can.
By my troth, most pleasant, how both did fit it.
A mark marvelous well shot, for they both did hit it.
A mark, oh, a mark, but that mark, a mark, says the lady. Let the mark have a prick in't to meet at, if it may be.
Why to the bow hand? In faith, your hand is out.
Indeed, must shoot nearer, or he'll ne'er hit the clout.
And if my hand be out, then belike your hand is in.
Then will she get the upshoot by cleaving the pin.
Come, you talk greasily. Your lips grow foul.
She's too hard for you at prick, sir. Challenge her to bowl.
Oh, I fear too much rubbing. Good night, my good owl.
By my soul, a swain, a most simple clown. Lord, Lord, how the ladies and I have put him down. Oh, my troth, most sweet jest, most iconny vulgar wit, when it comes so smoothly off, so obscenely as it were, so fit. Armado on the one side, oh, a most dainty man. To see him walk before a lady and bear her fan, to see him kiss his hand, and how most sweetly it will swear, and his page out the other side, that handful of wit. Ah, heavens, it is a most pathetic omit.
Oh!
Sola!
Ah! Hello, Nathaniel.
Very reverent sport, truly, and done in the testimony of a good conscience.
Well, the deer was, as you know, sanguise, in blood, ripe as the palm water, who now hangeth like a jewel in the ear of cielo, the sky, the welkin, the heaven, and anon falleth like a crab on the face of terra. The soil, the land, the earth.
Truly, Master Holofernes, the epithites are sweetly varied, like a scholar at the least. But, sir, I assure ye, it was a buck of the first head.
Sir Nathaniel, howd credo.
'Twas not a howd credo, 'twas a pricket.
Most barbarous intimation, and yet a kind of insinuation, as it were, in via, in way of explication, facere, as it were, replication, or rather ostentare, to show, as it were, his inclination after his undressed, unpolished, uneducated, unpruned, untrained, or rather unlettered, or ratherest unconfirmed fashion, to insert again my howd credo for a deer.
I said the deer was not a hod credo, 'twas a pricket.
Oh, twice sod simplicity, biscoctus! Ah, thou monster ignorance, how deformed dost thou look!
Sir, he hath never fed of the dainties that are bred in a book. He hath not eat paper, as it were. He hath not drunk ink. His intellect is not replenished. He is only an animal, only sensible in the duller parts, and such barren plants are set before us that we thankful should be, which we of taste and feeling are, for those parts that do fructify in us more than he. For, as it would ill become me to be vain, indiscreet, or a fool, so were there a patch set on learning to see him in a school. But omne bene, say I, being of an old father's mind, many can brook the weather that love not the wind. The wind.
You two are bookmen. Can you tell me by your wit, what was a month old at Cain's birth that's not 5 weeks old as yet?
Dictina, Goodman Dull,
Dictina! Ha ha! Goodman Dull.
What is dictina?
A title to Phoebe, to Luna, to the moon.
The moon was a month old when Adam was no more, and wrought not to 5 weeks when he came to 5 score. The illusion holds in the exchange.
It is true indeed. The collusion holds in the exchange.
Oh, God, comfort thy capacity. I say the illusion holds in the exchange.
And I say the pollution holds in the exchange, for the moon is never but a month old. And I say beside that, 'twas a pricket that the princess killed.
Sir Nathaniel, will you hear an extemporal epitaph on the death of the deer? And to humor the ignorant, I call the deer the princess killed a pricket.
Perge, good Master Holofernes, perge, so it shall please you to abrogate scurrility.
I will something affect the letter, for it argues facility. The prayful princess pierced and pricked the pretty pleasing pricket. Some say a sore, but not a sore, till now made sore with shooting. The dogs did yell, put L to sore, then sorrel jumps from thicket, or pricket sore, or else sorrel. The people fall a hooting. If sore be sore, then L to sore makes 50 sores a sorrel. Of 1 sore I 100 make by adding but 1 more L.
A rare talent.
If talent be a claw, look how he claws him with a talent.
This is a gift I have. It is a simple, foolish, extravagant spirit full of forms and figures and shapes and objects and ideas, apprehensions, motions, revolutions. These are begot in the ventricle of memory, nourished in the womb of pia mater, and delivered upon the mellowing of occasion. But the gift is good in those in whom it is acute, and I am thankful for it.
I praise the Lord for you, and so may my parishioners, for their sons are well tutored by you, and their daughters profit very greatly under you. You are a good member of the Commonwealth.
Miracle, if their sons be ingenious, they shall want no instruction. If their daughters be capable, I will put it to them. But vir sapit qui pauca loquitur, our soul feminine saluteth us.
Hello.
God give you good morrow, Master Person.
Master Person, quasi person me, and if one should be pierced, which is the one?
Marry, Master Schoolmaster, he that is likeliest to a hogshead.
Of piercing a hogshead, a good lustre of conceit in a turf of earth, fire enough for a flint, pearl enough for swine. 'Tis pretty, it is well.
Good Master Person, be so good as to read me this letter. It was given me by Costard and sent me from Don Armado. I beseech you, read it.
Facile precor galida quando pecus omne sub umbra ruminot, and so forth. Ah, good old Mantuan, I may speak of thee as the traveler doth of Venice. Venetia, Venetia, che non te vede, che non te precia. Old Mantuan, who understandeth thee not, loves thee not. Utre sola mi fa. Under pardon, sir, what are the contents, Or rather, as Horace says, oh, what, my soul, verses?
Aye, sir, and very learned.
Well, let me hear a staff, a stanza, a verse. Lege Domine.
If love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Ah, never faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Study his bias leaves, and makes his book thine eyes, where all those pleasures live that art would comprehend. If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue that well can thee commend, all ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that I thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice his dreadful thunder, which not to anger bent is music and sweet fire. Celestial as thou art, O pardon love this wrong that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly tongue.
Nathaniel, you will find not the apostrophist, and you so miss the accent. Let me supervise the canzonet. Here are only numbers ratified, but for the elegancy, facility, and golden cadence of Posy Carrot. Ovidus Naso was the man, and why indeed Naso, but for smelling out the odoriferous flowers of fancy, the jerks of invention. Imitari is nothing. So doth the hound his master, the ape his keeper, the tired horse his rider. But, Damosel Virgin, was this directed to you?
Aye, monsieur, from one Monsieur Berowne, one of the strange queen's lords.
Well, I will overgrant the superscript. To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous Rosaline. I will look again on the intellect of the letter for the nomination of the party to the person writing unto. Your ladyship's in all desired employment, Berowne. Sir Nathaniel, this Berowne is one of the votaries with the king, and here he hath framed a letter to the sequent of the stranger queen, which accidentally, or by way of progression, hath miscarried. Trip and go, my sweet. Deliver this paper unto the royal hands of the king. It may concern much. Say not thy compliment. I forgive thy duty. Adieu.
Good Costard, go with me. Sir, God save your life.
Have with thee, my girl.
Sir, you have done this in the fear of God, very religiously, and as a certain father saith,
Tell me not of the father. I do fear colorable colors. But to return to the verses, did they please you, Nathaniel?
Marvelous well for the pen.
Oh, good. I do dine today at the father's of a certain pupil of mine, where, if before repast, it shall please you to gratify the table with a grace. I will, on my privilege I have with the parents of the foresaid child or pupil, undertake your bienvenuto, where I will prove those verses to be very unlearned, neither savoring of poetry, wit, nor invention. I beseech your society.
And thank you too, for society, saith the text, is the happiness of life.
And certes the text most infallibly concludes it. Sir, I do invite you too. You shall not say me nay. Pauca verba. Away. The gentles are at the game, and we will to our recreation.
The king, he is hunting the deer. I am coursing myself. They have pitched a toil. I am toiling a pitch. Pitch that defiles. Defile. A foul word. Well, Set thee down, sorrow, for they say the fool said, and so say I, and I the fool, well-proved wit. Oh, by the Lord, this love is as mad as Ajax. It kills the sheep, and kills me, I, a sheep. Well proved again at my side. I will not love. If I do, hang me in faith. I will not. Oh, but her eye by this light, but for her eye, I would not love her. Yes, for her 2 eyes. Oh, well, I do nothing in the world but lie, and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love. And it hath taught me to rhyme and to be melancholy. And here is part of my rhyme, and here my melancholy. Well, she has one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and my lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady. Oh, by the world, I would not care a pin if the other 3 were in. Here comes one with a paper. Oh God, give him grace to groan.
Ay me.
Shot! By heaven, proceed, sweet Cupid. Thou hast thumped him with thy bird bolt under the left palp. In faith, secrets?
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not to those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams, when their fresh ray have smote the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows. Nor shines the silver moon 1/2 so bright, though through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear I do weep. No drop, but as a coach doth carry thee, so ridest thou triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself, then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still make me weep. O Queen of Queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. Oh, how shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet leaves, shade folly. Who is he comes here? What, Longaville, and reading? Listen, ear.
Now in thy likeness, one more fool appear.
Ay me, I am forsworn.
Why, he comes like a perjure wearing papers.
In love, I hope. Sweet fellowship and shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
Am I the first that have been perjured so?
I could put thee in comfort, not by 2 that I know. Thou makest the triumphery, the corner cap of society, the shape of love's Tyburn that hangs up simplicity.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. Ah, sweet Maria, empress of my love, these numbers will I tear and write in prose.
Ugh, rhymes are the guards of wanton Cupid toves. Disfigure not his shop.
The same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, 'gainst whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove, thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapor is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth dost shine, exhalest this vapor vow, in thee it is. If broken, then it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise? to lose an oath, to win a paradise.
This is the liver vein which makes flesh a deity, a green goose, a goddess. Pure, pure idolatry. God amend us, God amend. We are much out of the way.
By whom shall I send this? Company, stay.
Oh, an old infant play. Like a demigod, here I sit in the sky, and wretched fools' secrets heedfully over I. More sacks to the mill. Oh, heavens, I have my wish. Dumaine transformed, 4 woodcocks in a dish.
Oh, most divine Kate.
Oh, most profane coxcomb.
By her heaven, the wonder in a mortal's eye.
Oh, by earth, she is not corporal. There you lie.
Her amber hairs, for foul hath amber coated.
An amber-colored raven was well noted.
As upright as the cedar.
Stoop, I say. Her shoulders not with child.
As fair as day.
Aye, as some days, but the sun most shine.
Oh, that I had my wish!
And I had mine.
And mine too, good Lord.
Amen, so I had mine. Is not that a good word?
I would forget her. But a fever she hath reigned in my blood, and will remember it so.
A fever in your blood? Why, that incision would let her out in saucers. Sweet prison.
Once more I'll read the ode that I have writ.
Once more I'll mark how love can vary wit.
On a day, alack the day, love whose morn is ever man, espied a blossom passing fair, playing in the verdant air, wanton air. Through the velvet leaves, the wind, all unseen, can passage find. And that lover, stick to death, wished himself the heaven's breath. And quoth he, my cheeks must blow, ere would I my triumph so. But alack, my head is sworn, ne'er to pluck from thee thy thorn. Vow, alack, for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pick a sweet, to pluck a sweet. Do not call it sin in me, that I am forsworn for thee. Thou, for whom Jove would swear Juno, but a raven were, and deny himself to Jove, turning mortal for his love. This I will send, and something else more plain. Thou shalt express my true love's fisting pain. Oh, the king, Berowne and Longaville, were lovers too. I'll to example. I would from thy forehead wipe a perfumed note, for none offend, where all alike do dote.
Dumaine, thy love is far from charity, that in love's grief desirest society. You may look pale, but I should blush, I know, to be overheard and taken napping so.
Come, sir, your blush, as his, your case is such. You chided him, offending twice as much. You do not love Maria? Longaville did never sonnet for her sake compile, nor never lay his wreathed arms athwart his loving bosom to keep down his heart. I have been closely shrouded in this bush, and marked you both, and for you both did blush. I heard your guilty rhymes, observed your fashion, saw sighs reek from you, noted well your passion. Ay me, says one. Oh, Jove, the other cries. One, her hairs were gold, crystal, the other's eyes. You would for paradise break faith and troth. And Jove, for your love, would infringe an oath. What will Berowne say when that he shall hear faith infringed which such zeal did swear? How will he scorn? How will he spend his wit? How will he triumph, leap, and laugh at it? For all the wealth that ever I did see, I would not have him know so much by me.
Now I step forward with hypocrisy. Ah! Good, my liege, I pray thee pardon me. Good heart, what grace hast thou thus to reprove these worms for loving that art most in love? Your eyes do make no coaches, in your tears there is no certain princess that appears. You'll not be perjured? Oh, 'tis a hateful thing. 'Tis none but minstrels like of sonneting. But are you not ashamed? Nay, are you not, all three of you, to be thus much o'ershot? You found this mote, the king your mote did see, but I, a beam, do find in each of three. What a scene of foolery have I seen, of sighs and groans of sorrow, and of teen. Oh me, with what strict patience I have sat to see a king transformed to a gnat, to have great Hercules whipping a gig, and profound Solomon to tune a jig, and Nestor play at pushpin with the boys, and critic Timon laugh at idle toys. Where lies thy grief? Oh, tell me, good Dumaine. And gentle Longaville, where lies thy pain? And where's my liege? All about the breast? A coddle, ho!
Too bitter is thy jest. Are we betrayed thus to thy overview?
Oh, not you by me, but I betrayed to you. I that am honest, I that hold it sin to break the vow I am engaged in. I am betrayed by keeping company with men like you, men of inconstancy. When shall you see me write the thing in rhyme, or groan of Joan, or spend a minute's time in pruning me? When shall you hear that I will praise a hand, a foot, a face, an eye, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
Soft! Whither away so fast? A true man or a thief that gallops so?
I post from love, good lover. Let me go.
God bless the king.
What present hast thou here?
Some certain treason.
What makes treason here?
Nay, it makes nothing, sir.
If it mar nothing neither, the treason and you go in peace away together.
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our person misdoubts it. 'Twas treason, he said.
Berowne, read it over. Where hadst thou it?
Of Costard?
Where hadst thou it?
Of Adriamado, something like that.
How now? Berowne, what is in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace needs not fear it.
It did move him to passion, and therefore let's hear it.
You whoreson, loggerhead, you were born to do me shame. Guilty, my lord, guilty. I confess, I confess.
What?
That you three fools lacked me fool to make up the mess. He, you, and you, my liege, and I are pick purses in love, and we deserve to die. Oh, dismiss this audience. I shall tell you more.
Now the number is even.
True. We are four with, will these turtles be gone?
Hence, sirs, away.
Walk aside the true folk and let the traitors stay.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers, oh, let us embrace. As true as we are in flesh and blood can be, the sea will ebb and flow, heaven show his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause why we were born, therefore, of all hands we must be forsworn.
What, did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Well, did they quoth you? Who sees the heavenly Rosaline at the first opening of the gorgeous east, bows not his vassal head and strucken blind, kisses the base ground with obedient breast? What peremptory eagle-sighted eye dares look upon the heaven of her brow that is not blinded by her majesty?
What zeal, what fury hath inspired thee now? My love, her mistress, is a gracious moon. She, an attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes are then no eyes, nor I Berowne. Oh, but for my love, day would turn to night. Of all complexions, the called sovereignty do meet at a fair, do meet as at a fair in her cheek, where several worthies make one dignity, where nothing wants that want itself doth seek. Lend me the flourish of all gentle tongues, fie, painted rhetoric. Oh, she needs it not. To things of sale a seller's praise belongs. She passes praise, then praise too short doth blot. A withered hermit, 50 winters worn, might shake off 50 looking in her eye. Beauty doth varnish age, as if newborn, and gives the crutch the cradle's infancy. Oh, 'tis that sun that maketh all things shine.
By heaven, thy love is black as ebony.
Is ebony like her? Oh, wood divine, a wife of such wood were felicity. Oh, who can give an oath? Where is a book that I may swear beauty doth beauty lack if she learn not of her eye to look? No face is fair that is not as full so black.
Oh, paradox! Black is the badge of hell, the hue of dungeons and the school of night, and beauty's crest becomes the heavens well.
Oh, devils soonest tempt resembling spirits of, oh, if in black my lady's brows be decked. It mourns that painting and usurping hair should ravish doters with false suspect, and therefore is she born to make black fair. Her favor turns the fashion of the days, for native blood is counted painting now, and therefore red, that would avoid dispraise, paints itself black to imitate her brow.
To look like her, our chimney sweepers black.
And since her time, our colliers counted bright.
And ravens of their sweet complexion crack.
Dark needs no candles now, for dark is light.
Your mistress dare never come in rain, for fear their colors should be washed away.
'Twere good yours did. For, sir, to tell you plain, I'll find a fairer face not washed today.
I'll prove her fair, or talk till doomsday here.
No devil will fright thee then, so much as she.
I never knew man held vile stuff so dear.
Look, here's thy love. My foot and her face. See?
Oh, if the streets were paved with thine eyes, her feet were much too dainty for such a tread.
Oh, vile. And then as she gives what upward lies, the streets should see as she walked o'erhead.
But what of this? Are we not all in love?
Nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leave this chat, and, good Berowne, now prove our loving lawful, and our faith not torn.
Ay, marry there, some flattery for this evil.
Some authority how to proceed, some tricks, some quillets, how to cheat the devil.
Some salve for perjury.
Oh, 'tis more than need. Have at you then, affections, men at arms. Consider what you first did swear unto, to fast, to study, and to not see woman. Flat treason against the kingly state of youth. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. And where that you have vowed to study, lords, and that each of you have forsworn his book, can you still dream and pore and thereon look? For when you would, my lord, for when would you, my lord, or you have found the ground of study's excellence without the beauty of a woman's face? From woman's eyes, this doctrine I derive. They are the ground, the books, the academes, from whence doth spring the true Promethean fire. Why, universal plotting poisons up nimble spirits in the arteries, as motion and long-during action tires the sinewy vigor of the traveler. Now, for not looking on a woman's face, you have in that forsworn the use of eyes, and study too the causer of your vow. For where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? Learning is but an adjunct to ourselves, and where we are, our learning likewise is. Then when ourselves we see in ladies' eyes with ourselves, do we not likewise see our learning here? Oh, we have made a vow to study, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when would you, my liege, or you, in leaden contemplation have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors that have enriched with you? Other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore, finding barren practicers, scarce a harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as through every power, and gives to every power a double power above their functions and their offices. It adds a precious seeing to the eye. A lover's eye will gaze an eagle blind. A lover's ear will hear the lowest sound when the suspicious head of theft is stopped. Love's feeling is more soft and sensible than our tender horns of cockled snails. Love's tongues prove dainty Bacchus gross in taste. For valor, is not love a Hercules, still climbing trees and Hesperides? Subtle as Sphinx, as sweet and musical and bright Apollo's lute strung with his hair. And love speaks, the voice of all the gods make heaven drowsy with the harmony. Never durst poet touch a pen to write until his ink were tempered with love's sighs. Oh, then his lines would ravish savage ears and plant a tyrant, mild humility. From women's eyes, this doctrine I derive. They sparkle still the right Promethean fire. They are the books, the arts, the academes that show, contain, nourish all the world, else not at all and aught proves excellent. Then fools you were these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn, you will prove fools. For wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, or for love's sake, a word that loves all men, or for men's sake, the authors of these women, or women's sake, by whom we men are men. Let us once lose our oaths to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths. It is religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law. And who can sever love from charity?
Saint Cupid, then, and soldiers to the field.
Advance your standards, and upon them, lords, pell-mell down with them. But be first advised in conflict that you get son of them.
Now, to plain dealing, therefore, lay these glozes by. Shall we resolve to woo these girls of France?
And win them too. Therefore, let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents.
First, from the park, let us conduct them thither. Then, homeward, every man attach the hand of his fair mistress. In the afternoon, we will with some strange pastime solace them, such as the shortness of the time can shape, for revels, dances, masks, and merry hours forerun fair love, strewing her with flowers.
Away, away, no time shall be omitted, that will be time and may by us be fitted.
Allons, allons, so cockled reap no corn, and justice always whirls in equal measure. Light wenches may prove plagues to men forsworn. If so, our copper buys no better treasure.
Satis quid sufficet.
I praise God for you, sir. Your reasons at dinner have been sharp and sententious, pleasant without scurrility, witty without affection, audacious without impudency, learned without opinion, and strange without heresy. I did converse this quondam day with a companion of the king's, who is intitulated and nominated or called Don Adriano de Armando.
Novi hominem tanquam te. His humor is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filed, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, and his general behavior vain and ridiculous and phrasonical. He is too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too peregrate, as I may call it.
A most singular and choice epithet.
He draweth out the thread of his verbosity finer than the staple of his argument. I abhor such fanatical phantasms, such insociable and point device companions, such wreckers of orthography, as to speak doubt fine when he should say doubt, debt when he should pronounce debt, D-E-B-T, not D-E-T. He cleptif calf, cough, half, hoff, neighbor, vocator, nebor, nay, abbreviated nay. This is abominable, which he would call abominable. It insinuates me of insani, ne intelligentis domine, to make frantic, lunatic.
Laus Deo bone intelligo.
Bone for bene. Christian, a little scratch tool, sir.
Well, videsne quis venit.
Video et gaudio.
Hira.
Quare hira, not sira.
Men of peace, well encountered.
Most military, sir, salutation.
They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps.
Oh, they have lived long on the alms basket of words. I marvel thy master hath not eaten thee for a word. For thou art not so long as the head, by the head is honorificalibitudinitatibus. And now I lost my script.
Peace, the peal begins.
Monsieur, are you not lettered?
Yes, he teaches boys the horn book. What is a B spelled backward with the horn on his head?
A-B spelled backward? Ba, peritita, with a horn added.
Ba, most silly sheep with a horn. You hear his learning.
Queese, thou consonant.
The last of the 5 vowels if you repeat them, or the 5th if I.
I will repeat them. A, E, I.
The sheep, the other 2 concludes it, O-U.
Oh, now by the salt wave of the Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick venue of wit, snip, snap, quick and home. It rejoices my intellect. True wit.
Offered by a child to an old man, which is wit old.
What is the figure? What is the figure?
Horns.
thou disputes like an infant. Go whip thy gig.
Lend me your horn to make one, and I will whip about your infamy, Manusita, a gig of a cuckold's horn.
And I had but 1 penny in the world, thou shouldst have it to buy gingerbread. Hold, there is the very remuneration I had of thy master, thou halfpenny purse of wit, thou pigeon egg of discretion. Oh, and the heavens were so pleased that thou wert but my bastard. What a joyful father wouldst thou make me. Go thou hast it at dunghill, at the fingers' ends, as they say.
I smell a false Latin, dunghill for unguem.
Artsman, perambulate. We will be singuled from the barbarous.
Oh.
Do you not educate youth at the charge house at the top of the mountain?
Urmann's the hill.
At your sweet pleasure,
Nay.
for the mountain.
I do, sans question.
Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of the day, which the rude multitude call the afternoon.
Posteriors of the day, most generous sir, is liable, congruent and measurable for the afternoon. The word is well culled, chose, sweet, and apt. I do assure you, sir.
Sir, the king is a noble gentleman, and my familiar, I do assure you, very good friend. For what is inward between us, let it pass. I do beseech thee, remember thy courtesy. I beseech thee, apparel thy head. And among other importunate and more serious designs, and of great import indeed too, but let that pass. For I must tell thee, it will please his grace by the world sometimes to lean on my poor shoulder, and with his royal finger thus dally with my excrement, with my mustachio. But, sweetheart, let that pass. By the world I recount no fable. Some certain special honors it pleases his greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel that has seen the world. But let that pass. The very all of all is, but sweetheart, I do implore secrecy, that the king would have me present the princess, sweet Chuck, with some delightful ostentation, or show, or pigeon, or antique, or firework. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good at such eruptions and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you with all, to the end to crave your assistance.
Sir, you shall present before her the 9 worthies. Sir Nathaniel, as concerning some entertainment of the time, some show in the posterior of this day, to be rendered by our assistants, the king's command, and this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman before the princess, I say none so fit as to present the 9 worthies.
Where will you find men worthy enough to present them?
Joshua, yourself, myself, and this gallant gentleman, Judas Maccabeus, this swain, because of his great limb or joint, shall pass Pompey the Great, the page Hercules.
Pardon, sir, error. He's not quantity enough for that worthy's thumb. He is not so big as the end of his club.
Shall I have audience? he shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake, and I will have an apology for that purpose.
Oh, an excellent device. So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, "Well done, Heracles. Now thou crushest the snake." That is the way to make an offense gracious, though few have the grace to do it.
For the rest of the words?
I shall play 3 myself.
Thrice worthy gentlemen.
Shall I tell you a thing?
We attend.
We will have, if this fudge not, an antique. I beseech you follow.
Via, goodman dull, thou hast spoken no word all this while.
Nor understood none neither, sir.
Allos, we will employ thee.
I'll make one in a dance or so, or I will play on the tabor to the worthies and let them dance the hay.
Most dull, honest dull. To our sport! Away!
Sweethearts, we shall be rich ere we depart. If faring comes this plentifully in, a lady walled about with diamonds. Look at you what I have from the loving king.
Madam, came nothing else along with that?
Nothing but this. Yes, as much as a love in a rhyme as would be crammed up in a sheet of paper, but on both sides the leaf, margent and all. But he was fain to steal on Cupid's name.
That was the way to make his godhead wax, for he hath been 5,000 year a boy.
Aye, and a shrewd, unhappy gallows, too.
You'll ne'er be friends with him that killed your sister.
He made me melancholy, sad, and heavy, and so she died. Had she been light, like you, of such a merry, nimble, stirring spirit, she might have been a grandam ere she died. And so may you, for a light heart lives long.
What's your dark meaning, mouse, of this light word?
A light condition in a beauty dark.
We need more light to find your meaning out.
You'll mar the light by making it taking it in snuff. Therefore, I'll darkly end the argument.
Look what you do it still in the dark.
So do not you, for you are a light wench.
Indeed, I weigh not you, and therefore light.
You weigh me not? Oh, that's you care not for me.
Great reason, for past care is still past curse.
Oh, well branded both. A set of wit well played, but Rosaline, you have a favor too. Who sent it, and what is it?
I would you knew, and if my face were but as fair as yours, my favor were as great. Be witness this. Nay, I have verses too. I think Berowne, the numbers true, and were the numbering two, I were the fairest goddess on the ground. I am compared to 20,000 fairs. Oh, he hath drawn a picture of in this letter.
Anything like?
Much in the letters, nothing in the praise.
Beauteous as ink. A good conclusion.
There is a text B in a copybook.
Where pencils ho? Let me not die your debtor, my red dominical, my golden letter. Oh, that your face were not so full of O's.
Pox of that jest, and I beshrew all shrews. But, Katherine, what was sent to you from Dumaine?
Madam? This glove.
Did he not send you twain?
Yes, madam. And moreover, some 1,000 verses of a faithful lover, a huge translation of hypocrisy, wildly compiled, profound simplicity.
This and these pearls to me sent Longaville. The letter is too long by half a mile.
I think no less. Dost thou not wish in heart the chain were longer and the letter short?
Well, I would these hands might never part.
We are wise girls to mark our lovers so.
They are worse fools to purchase mocking so. The same Berowne I'll torture ere I go. Oh, that I knew he were, but by the week, how I would make him fawn and beg and seek, and wait the season and observe the times, and spend his prodigal wits in bootless rhymes, and shape his service wholly to my device, and make him proud to make me proud that jests, so paired taunt-like would I say o'ersay his state, that he should be my fool, and I his fate.
None are so surely caught than they are catched, as would turn fool, folly and wisdom hatched. Hath wisdom's warrant in help of school, and wit's own grace, to grace a learned fool.
The blood of youth burns not with such excess as gravity's revolt to wantonness.
Folly in fools bears not so strong a note as foolery in the wise, when wit doth dote, since all the power thereof it doth apply to prove by wit worth in simplicity.
Oh, here comes Boyet, and mirth is in his face.
Oh, I am stabbed with laughter. Where's her grace?
Thy news, Boyet.
Prepare, madam, prepare. Arm, wenches, arm. Encounters mounted are against your peace. Love doth approach disguised. Armed in arguments, you'll be surprised. Muster your wits, stand in your own defense, or hide your heads like cowards and fly hence.
Saint Dennis to Saint Cupid, what are they that change their breath against us? Say, scout, say.
Under the cool shade of a sycamore, I thought to close mine eyes some half an hour, when lo, to interrupt my purposed rest, toward that shade I might behold addressed the king and his companions. Warily I stole into a neighbor thicket by, and overheard what you shall overhear, that by and by, disguised they will be here. Their herald is a pretty knavish page, that well by heart hath conned his envisage. Action and accent did they teach him there. Thus must thou speak, and thus thy body bear, and ever and anon they made a doubt presence majestical would put him out. For, quoth the king, an angel shalt thou see, yet fear not thou, but speak audaciously. Yet the boy replied, an angel is not evil. I should have feared her had she been a devil. With all that, all laughed and clapped him on the shoulder, making the bold wag by their praises bolder. One rubbed his elbow thus and fleered and swore. A better speech was never spoke before. Another, with his finger and his thumb, cried, "Via, we'll do it. Come what will come." The third, he capered and cried, "All goes well." The fourth turned on the toe and down he fell. With that they all did tumble on the ground with such zealous laughter, so profound, that in this spleen ridiculous appears to check their folly, passion, solemn tears.
But what? What? Come they visit us?
They do. And are apparelled thus, like Muscovites or Russians, as I guess. Their purpose is to parley, to court, and dance, and everyone his love feet will advance unto his several mistress, which they'll know by the favors several which they did bestow.
And will they so? The gallant shall be tasked for ladies. We will, everyone, be masked. And not a man to make them have the grace, despite of suit, to see a lady's face. Hold, Rosaline, this favor thou shalt wear, and then the king will court thee to his dear. Hold thou this, my sweet, give me thine, so take Berowne shall take me for Rosaline. And change your favors too, shall your loves, woo contrary, deceive these removes.
Come on then, where the favors most in sight.
But in this changing, what is your intent?
The effect of my intent is to cross theirs. They do it but in mockery, merriment, and mock for mock is only my intent. Their several counsels they unbosom shall to their loves mistook, and so be mocked withal, upon the next occasion that we meet with visages displayed to talk and greet.
But shall we dance if they desire us to it?
No, to the death we will not move foot, for their pen's speech render we no grace, but when 'tis spoke we turn away her face.
Aye, that contempt will kill the speaker's heart and quite divorce his memory from his part.
Therefore I do it. I make no doubt the rest ne'er come in if he be out. There's no such sport as sport, and sport o'erthrown. Let's make ours none but ours our own. So shall we stay mocking intended game, and they will mock to part away with shame.
The trumpet sounds, be masked, the maskers come.
All hail the richest beauties on the earth.
Beauty's no richer than rich taffeta.
A holy parcel of the fairest dames that e'er turn their backs to mortal views.
Their eyes, villain, their eyes.
That ever turn their eyes to mortal views. Out,
True, out indeed.
Out of your favors, heavenly spirits, vouchsafe not to behold.
Once to behold, rogue.
Once to behold with sunbeamed eyes. With sunbeamed eyes.
They will not answer to that epithet. You were best call it daughter-beamed eyes.
Oh, they do not mark me, and that brings me out.
Is this your perfectness? Begone, you rogue.
What would these strangers? Know their minds, Boyet. If they do speak our language, 'tis our will that some plain man recount their purposes, and know what they would.
What would you with the princess?
Nothing but peace and a gentle visitation.
What would they, say they?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
What that they have, and bid them so be gone.
She says you have it, and you may be gone.
Say to her we have measured many miles to tread a measure with her on this grass.
They say that they have measured many a mile to tread a measure with you on this grass.
It is not so. Ask them how many inches is in 1 mile. If they have measured many, the measure then of one is easily told.
If to come hither you have measured miles and many miles, the princess bids you tell how many inches doth fill up 1 mile.
Tell her we measure them by weary steps.
She hears herself.
How many weary steps of many weary miles have you o'ergone are numbered in the travel of 1 mile?
We number nothing that we spend for you. Our duty is so rich, so infinite, that we may do it still without the count. Vouchsafe to show the sunshine of your face, that we, like savages, may worship it.
My face is but a moon, and clouded too.
Blessed are clouds to do as such clouds do. Vouchsafe, bright moon, and these thy stars to shine, these clouds removed upon our watery eye.
Oh, vain petitioner, beg a greater matter. Thou now requests but moonshine in the water.
Then in our measure do but vouchsafe one change. Thou bidst me beg. This begging is not strange.
Play music then. Nay, you must do it soon. Not yet. No dance. Thus change I like the moon.
Will you not dance? How come you thus estranged?
You took the moon at full, but now she's changed.
Yet still she is the moon and I the man. The music plays, vouchsafe some motion to it.
Our ears vouchsafe it.
But your legs should do it.
Since you are strangers and come here by chance, will not be nice. Take hands. We will not dance.
Why take we hands then?
Only to part friends. Curtsy, sweethearts, and so the measure ends.
More measure of this measure, be not nice.
We can afford no more at such a price.
Price you yourselves. What buys your company?
Your absence only.
That can never be.
Then cannot we be bought. And so adieu, twice to your visor, and half once to you.
If you deny to dance, let's hold more chat.
In private then.
I am best pleased with that.
White-handed mistress, one sweet word with thee.
Honey and milk and sugar. There is 3.
Nay, then 2 trays, and if you grow so nice, make a thin wart and Malmsey, we run dice. There's half a dozen sweets.
7th sweet adieu. Since you can cog, I'll play no more with you.
1 word and secret.
Let it not be sweet.
Oh, thou grievest my gall.
Gall! Bitter.
Oh, therefore meat.
Will you vouchsafe me to change a word?
Name it.
Fair lady.
Say you so, fair lord. Take that for your fair lady.
Pleaseth you as much in private, I'll bid adieu.
What, was your vizard made without a tongue?
I know the reason, lady, why you ask.
Oh, for your reason. Quickly, sir, I long.
You have a double tongue within your mask, and will afford my speechless wizard have.
Veal, quoth the Dutchman. Is not veal a calf?
A calf, fair lady?
No, a fair lord calf.
Let's part the word.
No, I'll not be your half. Take all and wean it. It may prove an ox.
Look how you butt yourself in these sharp marks. Will you give horns chase, lady? Do not so.
Then die a calf before your horns do grow.
1 word in private with you ere I die.
Bleat softly then. The butcher hears you cry.
The tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as the razor's edge invisible, cutting a smaller hair than may be seen. Above the sense of sense, so sensible seemeth their conference, their conceits have wings, fleeter than arrows, bullets, wind, thought, swifter things.
And not 1 word more, my maids. Break off, break off.
By heaven, all dry beaten with pure scoff.
Farewell, mad ventures, you have simple wits.
20 adieus, my frozen Muscovits. Are these the breed of wits so wondered at?
Tapers they are, with your sweet breaths puffed out.
Well-liking wits they have. Gross, gross, fat.
Ah, poverty and wit, kingly poor flout. Will they, think you, hang themselves tonight, or ever vizards show their faces? This pert Berowne was out of countenance quite.
They were all in lamentable cases. The king was weeping ripe for a good word.
Berowne did swear himself out all suit.
Dumaine was at my service, and his sword no point, quoth I. My servant straight was mute.
Lord, Lord Longaville said I came o'er his heart. And trow ye what he called me?
Qualm, perhaps.
Yea, in good faith.
Oh, go, sickness as thou art.
Well, better wits have worn plain statute caps, but will you hear? The king is my love sworn.
And quick Berowne hath plighted faith to me.
And Longaville has for my service born.
Dumaine is mine, as sure as bark on tree.
Madam and pretty mistresses, give ear. Immediately they will again be here in their own shapes, for it can never be they will digest this harsh indignity.
Will they return?
They will, God knows, and leap for joy, though they are lame with blows. Therefore, change favors, and when they repair, blow like sweet roses in the summer air.
How blow, speak to be understood.
Fair ladies masked are roses in their bud. Dismasked, their damask sweet commixture shown are angels veiling clouds or roses blown.
Avaunt perplexity. What should we do if they return to their own shapes to woo?
Good madam, if by me you will be advised, let's mock them still, as well known as disguised. Let us complain to them what fools were here, disguised like Muscovites in shapeless gear, and wonder what they were and to what end their shallow shows and prologue wildly penned, and their rough carriage so ridiculous should be presented at our tent to us.
Ladies, withdraw, the gallants are at hand.
Whip to our tents, as rows run o'er land.
Fair sir, God save you. Where's the princess?
Gone to her tent, please it your majesty. Command me any services to her thither.
That she vouchsafe me audience for one word.
I will, and so will she, I know, my lord.
This fellow picks up wit as pigeons peas, and utter it again when God doth please. He is wit's peddler, and retails his wares, and wakes and wassails, meetings, markets, fairs. And we that sell by gross, the Lord doth know, have not the grace to grace, hath not the grace to grace it with such show. This gallant pins the witches on his sleeve. Had he been Adam, he had tempted Eve. Can carve too, and lisp. And why this is he that kissed his hand away in courtesy. This is the ape of form, Monsieur the nice, that when he plays at tables and chides the dice in honorable terms, nay, he can sing sing a mean most meanly, and in ushering mend him who can. The ladies call him sweet. The stairs, as he treads on them, kiss his feet. This is the flower that smiles on every one, to show his teeth as white as whale's bone, and consciences that will not die in debt, pay him the due of honey-tongued Boyet.
A blister on his sweet tongue, with my heart, that put Armado's page out of his part.
See where it comes. Behavior? What wert thou till this madman showed thee? And what art thou now?
All hail, sweet madam, and fair time of day.
Fair in all hail is foul, as I conceive.
Conster my speech is better, if you may.
Then wish me better. I will give you leave.
We came to visit you, and purpose now to lead you to our court. Vouchsafe it then.
This field shall hold me, and so hold your vow. Nor God nor I delights in perjured men.
Rebuke me not for that which you provoke. The virtue of your eye must break my oath.
You nickname virtue, vice you should have spoke. For virtue's office never breaks men's troth. By now by my maiden honor, yet as pure as unsallied lily, I protest, a world of torments though I should endure, I would not yield your house's guest. So much I hate a breaking cause to be of heavenly oaths vowed with integrity.
You have lived in desolation here, unseen, unvisited, much to our shame.
Not so, my lord, it is not so, I swear. We have had pastimes here, and pleasant gain. A mess of Russians left us but of late.
How now, madam? Russians?
Aye, in truth, my lord, trim gallants full of courtship and of state.
Madam, speak true. It is not so, my lord. My lady, to the manner of the days, in courtesy gives undeserving praise. We four indeed confronted were with four in Russian habit. Here they stayed an hour and talked apace. And in that hour, my lord, they did not bless us with one happy word. I dare not call them fools, but this, I think, when they are thirsty, fools would fain have drink.
This jest is dry to me. Gentle sweet, your wits make these wise things foolish. When we greet with eyes best seeing, heaven's fiery eye, by light we lose light. Your capacity is of that nature that your huge store wise things seem foolish, and rich things but poor.
This proves you wise and rich, for in my eye,
I am a fool and full of poverty.
but that you take what doth to you belong, it were a fault to snatch words from my tongue.
I am yours and all that I possess.
All the fool mine?
I cannot give you less.
Which of the vizards was it that you wore?
Where? When? What vizard? Why demand you this?
There then, that vizard, that superfluous case that hid the worse and showed the better face.
We were descried. They'll mock us now downright.
Let us confess and turn it into a jest.
Amazed, my lord. Why looks your highness sad?
How pulled his brows he'll sound. Why look you pale? Seasick, I think, coming from Muscovy.
Oh.
Thus pours the stars down plagues for perjury. Can any face of brass hold longer out? Here stand I, lady. Dart thy skill at me. Bruise me with scorn. Confound me with a flout. Thrust thy sharp wit quite through my ignorance. Cut me to pieces with thy keen conceit, and I will wish thee never more to dance, nor never more in Russian habitat wait. Oh, never will I trust to speeches penned, nor to motion of a schoolboy's tongue, nor never come in vizard to my friend, nor woo in rhyme like blind harper's song. Half this phrases, silken terms precise, three-piled hyperboles, spruce affection, figured pedantical. These summer flies have blown me full of naked ostentation. I do forswear them. I here protest by this white glove, how white the hand, God knows. Henceforth, my wooing mind shall be expressed in russet yeas and honest cursey noes. And to begin, wench, so God help me law, my love to thee is sound, sans crack or flaw.
Sans, I pray you.
Yet I have a trick of the old rage. Bear with me, I am sick. I'll leave it by degrees. Soft, let us see. Right, Lord, have mercy on us, on those three. They are infected in their hearts, it lies. They have the plague and caught it of your eyes. These lords are visited, you are not free. For the Lord's tokens on you, I do see.
No, they are free that give these tokens to us.
Our estates are forfeit. Seek not to undo us.
It is not so, for how can this be true that you stand forfeit, being those that sue?
Peace, for I will not have to do with you.
Nor shall not, if I do as I intend.
Well, speak for yourselves, my wit is at an end.
Teach us, sweet madam, for our rude transgression some fair excuse.
The fairest is confession. Were not you here, but even now disguised?
Madam, I was.
And were you well advised?
I was, fair madam.
When you were here, what did you whisper in your lady's ear?
That more than all the world I did respect her.
Then she shall challenge this. You will reject her.
Upon mine honor, no.
Peace, forbear. Your oath once broke, you force not to forswear.
Despise me when I break this oath of mine.
I will, and therefore keep it. Rosaline, what did you hear the Russian whisper in your ear?
Madam, he swore that he did hold me dear as precious eyesight, and did value me above this world, adding thereto, moreover, that he would wed me or else die my lover.
Give thee joy of him. Thy noble lord most honorably doth uphold his word.
What mean you, madam? By my life, my troth, I never swore this lady such an oath.
By heaven you did, and to confirm it plain, you gave me this. But take it, sir, again.
My faith in this, the princess, I did give. I knew her by this jewel on her sleeve.
Pardon me, sir, this jewel that she did wear in Lord Berowne, I thank him, is my dear. What? Will you have me, or is that your pearl again?
Neither of either. I remit both twain. I see the trick, and it here was a consent, knowing aforehand of our merriment, to dash it like a Christmas comedy, some carry tale, some please man, some slight zany, some mumble news, some trencher knight, some dick that smiles his cheek and ears and knows the trick to make my lady laugh when she's disposed. Told our intents before, which once disclosed. The ladies to change favors, and then we, following the signs, wooed but the sign of she. Now, to our perjury, to add more terror, we are again forsworn in will and error. Much upon this 'tis, Boyet, and might not you forestall our sports to make us thus untrue? Do not you know my lady's foot by the squire, and laugh upon the apple of her eye, and stand between her back, sir, and the fire, holding a trencher, jesting merrily? You put our page out. Go, you are allowed. Die when you will, a smock will be your shroud. You leer upon me, do you? There's an eye, wounds like a leaden sword.
Full merrily hath this brave managed this career been run.
Lo, he is tilting straight, peace, I have done. Ha ha, welcome, pure wit, thou parts a fair fray.
Oh Lord, sir, they would know whether the three worthies shall come in or no.
What, are there but three?
No, sir, but it is verifying for everyone pursuance 3.
And 3 times thrice is 9.
Not so, sir. Under correction, sir. I hope it is not so. You cannot beg us, sir. I can assure you, sir, we know what we know. I hope, sir, 3 times thrice, sir.
Is not 9?
Under correction, sir, we know where until it doth amount.
By Jove, I always took 3 times 3 for 9.
Oh Lord, sir, it were pity you should get your living by reckoning, sir.
How much is it?
Oh Lord, sir, the parties themselves, the actors, sir, will show where until it doth amount. For mine own part, I am, as they say, but to perfect one man in one poor man, Pompeian the Great, sir.
Art thou one of the worthies?
It pleased them to think me worthy of Pompey the Great, for mine own part. I know not the degree of the worthy, but I am to stand for him.
Go bid them prepare.
We will turn it finely off, sir. We will take some care.
Berowne, they will shame us. Let them not approach.
We are shame-proof, my lord, and 'tis some policy to have one show worse than the kings and his company.
I say they shall not come.
Nay, my good lord, let me o'errule you know. Let me o'errule you now. The sport best pleases you doth may know how. Where zeal strives to content, these contents dies in zeal of which it presents. Their form confounded makes most form in mirth. When great things laboring perish, give their birth.
A right description of our sport, my lord.
Anointed, I implore so much expense of thy sweet royal breath as will utter a brace of words.
Does this man serve God?
Why ask you?
Speaks not like a man of God, his making.
That is all one, my fair, sweet, honey monarch, for I protest, the schoolmaster is exceeding fantastical. Too vain. Too vain. But we will put it, as they say, to fortuna de la guerra. I wish you the peace of mind. Most royal couplement.
Here is like to be a good presence of worthies. He presents Hector of Troy, the swain Pompey the Great, the parish curate Alexander, Armado's page Hercules, the pedant Judas Maccabeus, and if these 4 worthies in their first show thrive, these 4 will change habits and present the other 5.
There is 5 in the first show.
You are deceived. 'Tis not so.
The pedant, the braggart, the hedge priest, the fool, and the boy. A bait throw at novum, and the whole world again cannot pick out 5 such. Take each one in his vein.
Oh, the ship is under sail, and here she comes amain.
I, Pompey, am.
You lie. You are not he.
I, Pompey, am.
With a liberd's head on knee.
Oh, well said, old mocker. I must be friends with thee.
I, Pompey, am. Pompey, surnamed the Big.
The Great.
It is great, sir. Pompey, surnamed the Great, that often field with targe and shield did make my foe to sweat. And traveling along this coast, I here am come by chance and lay my arms before the legs of this sweet lass of France. If your ladyship would say thanks, Pompey, I had done.
Great thanks, great Pompey.
'Tis not so much worth, but I hope I was perfect. I made a little fault in great.
My hat's to a halfpenny. Pompey proves the best worthy.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander. By east, west, north, and south, I spread my conquering might. My scutcheon plain declares that I am Alexander.
Your nose says no, you are not, for it stands to right.
Your nose smells no in this most tender smelling night.
Oh, the conqueror is dismayed. Proceed, good Alexander.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander.
True, 'tis right you were so, Alexander.
Pompey the Great?
Your servant and Costard.
But take away the conqueror. Take away Alexander.
Oh, sir, you have overthrown Alexander the Conqueror. You will be scraped out of the painted cloth for this. Your lion that holds his poleaxe sitting on a close stool will be given to Ajax. He will be the 9th worthy, a conqueror and afeard to speak. Run away for shame, Alexander. Alexander. There it shall please you, a foolish old mild man, an honest man. Look at you, and soon dashed. He is a marvelous good neighbor, faith, and a very good bowler. But for Alexander, alas, you see how 'tis, little o'erpated. But there are worthies a-coming will speak their mind in some other sort.
Stand aside, good Pompey.
Brave Hercules is presented by this imp, whose club killed Cerberus, that 3-headed Canis, and when he was a babe, a child, a shrimp, thus did he strangle serpents with his manus. Quodiam he seemeth in minority, ergo I come with this apology. Keep some state in thy exit and vanish. Judas, I am.
Oh, Judas.
No, not Iscariot, sir. Judas, I am. Eclipped Maccabeus,
Judas Maccabeus clipped is plain Judas.
A kissing traitor. How art thou proved, Judas?
Judas, I am.
The more shame for you, Judas.
What mean you, sir?
To make Judas hang himself.
Oh, begin, sir. You are my elder.
Why followed Judas was hanged on an elder?
I will not be put out of countenance.
Because thou hast no face?
Well, what is this?
A cittern head.
The lead of a bodkin.
The death's face in a ring.
The face of an old Roman coin, scarce seen.
The pommel of Caesar's falchion.
The carved bone of a face on a flask.
St. George's half cheek and a brooch.
Aye, and in a brooch of lead.
Aye, and worn in the cap of a tooth drawer. And now forward, for we have put thee in countenance.
You have put me out of countenance.
False. We have given thee faces.
But you have outfaced them all.
And thou wert a lion, we would do so.
Therefore, as he is an ass, let him go. And so adieu, sweet Jude. Nay, why dost thou stay?
For the latter end of his name.
For the ass to the Jude, give it him, Jude ass.
Oh,
away.
This is not generous, not gentle, not humble.
Light for Monsieur Jude ass. It grows dark. He may stumble.
Alas, poor Maccabeus, how hath he been baited?
Hide thy head, Achilles. Here comes Hector in arms.
Though my mocks come home to me, I will now be merry.
Hector was but a Trojan in respect of this.
But is this Hector?
I think Hector was not so clean timbered.
His leg is too big for Hector's.
More calf, certain.
No, he is best endued in the small.
Oh, this cannot be Hector.
He's a god or painter, for he makes faces.
The omnipotent Mars of Lenses the Almighty gave Hector a gift.
A gift nutmeg.
A lemon?
Stuck with cloves?
No, cloven.
The omnipotent Mars of Lenses the Almighty gave Hector a gift, the hair of Helium. A man so breathed that certain he would fight, yea, from morn till night out of his pavilion. I am that flower.
That Columbine?
Sweet Lord Longaville, rein thy tongue.
I must rather give it the rein, for it runs against Hector.
Aye, and Hector's a greyhound.
The sweet war man is dead and rotten, sweet chucks. Beat not the bones of the buried. When he breathed, he was a man. But I will forward with my device. Sweet royalty, bestow on me the sense of hearing.
Costard, psst.
Oh, speak, brave Hector, we are much delighted.
I do adore thy sweet grace's slipper.
Loves her by the foot.
He may not by the yard.
This Hector far surmounted Hannibal. The party is gone.
Follow Hector, she is gone. She is 2 months on her way.
What meanest thou?
Faith, unless you play the honest Trojan, the poor wench is cast away. She's quick. The child brags in her belly already. 'Tis yours.
Dost thou infaminize me among potentates? Thou shalt die.
Then shall Hector be whipped for Jaquenetta that is quick by him, and hanged for Pompey that is dead by him.
Most rare Pompey.
Renowned Pompey.
Greater than great, 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 great Pompey. Pompey the huge.
Hector trembles.
Pompey is moved. More eights, more eights. Stir them on, stir them on.
Hector will challenge him.
Aye, if I have no more man's blood in his belly, that will sup a flea.
By the North Pole, I do challenge thee.
I will not fight with a pole like a northern man. I'll slash. I'll do it by the sword. I pray you let me borrow my arms again.
Room for the incensed worthies.
I'll do it in my shirt.
Most resonant Pompey, resolute Pompey.
Master, let me take you a buttonhole lower. Do you not see Pompey is encasing for the combat? What mean you? You will lose your reputation.
Gentlemen and soldiers, pardon me. I will not combat in my shirt.
You may not deny it, Pompey hath made the challenge.
Sweet bloods, I both may and will.
What reason have you for it?
The naked truth of it is, I have no shirt. I go woolward for penance.
True. And it was enjoined him in Rome for want of linen, since when, I'll be sworn, he wore none but a dishclout of Jaquenettas, and that awares next his heart for a favor.
God save you, madam.
Oh, welcome, Markety, but that thou interrupted our merriment.
I am sorry, madam, for the news I bring is heavy in my tongue. The king your father.
Dead? Oh, for my life.
Even so, my tale is told.
Worthies away. The scene begins to cloud.
For mine own part, I breathe free breath. I have seen the day of wrong through the little hole of discretion, and I will right myself like a soldier.
How fares your majesty?
Boyet, prepare, I will away tonight.
Madam, not so. I do beseech you, stay.
Prepare, I say. I thank you, gracious lords, for all your fair endeavors, and entreat out a new sad soul, that you vouchsafing your rich wisdom to excuse or hide the liberalization of our spirits. If overboardly we have borne ourselves in the converse of our breath, your gentleness was guilty of it. Oh, farewell, worthy lord, a heavy heart bears not a humble tongue. Excuse me so, coming too short of thanks from my great suit so easily obtained.
The extreme parts of time extremely forms all causes to the purpose of his speed, and often at his very loose decides that which long process could not arbitrate. And though the morning brow of progeny forbid the smiling courtesy of love, the holy suit which fain it would convince, yet since love's argument was first on foot, let not the cloud of sorrow justle it from what it purposed, since to wail friends lost is not by much so wholesome profitable as to rejoice at friends but newly found.
I understand you not. My griefs are double.
Honest plain words best pierce the ear of grief, and by these badges understand the king. For your fair sakes have we neglected time, played foul with our oaths. Your beauty, ladies, hath much deformed us, fashioning our humors, even to the opposed end of our intents. And what in us hath seemed ridiculous, as love is full of unbefitting strains, all wanton as a child, skipping and vain, formed by the eye, and therefore like the eye, full of straying shapes, of habits and forms, varying in subjects, as the eye doth roll to every varied object in his glance, which party-coded presence of loose love put on by us, if in your heavenly eyes have misbecomed our oaths and gravities. Those heavenly eyes, that look into these faults suggested us to make. Therefore, ladies, our love being yours, the error that makes is likewise yours. We to ourselves prove false by being once false forever to be true to those that make us both. Fair ladies, you, and even that falsehood in itself a sin, thus purifies itself and turns to grace.
We have received your letters full of love, your favors ambassadors of love, and in our maiden council rated them at courtship, pleasant jest and courtesy as bombast as lighting of the time. But more devout than this in our respects how have we not been, and therefore met your loves in their own fashion, like a merriment.
Our letters, madam, showed much more than jest.
So did our looks.
He did not coat them so.
Now, at the latest minute of the hour, grant us your loves?
A time methinks too short to make a world without end bargain in. No, no, my lord, your grace is perjured much, full of dear guiltiness, and therefore this. If for my love, as there is no such cause, ye will do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage, remote there from all the pleasures of the world. Then stay there till the 12 celestial signs have brought about their annual reckoning. If this austere and sociable life change not you offer made in the heat of blood, if frost and fast hard lodging and thin weeds nip not the gaudy bosoms of your love, but bear in trial and last love, then at the expiration of the year, come challenge me. Challenge me by these deserts and by this virgin palm now kissing thine. I will be thine. Until that instant shut my woeful self in the mourning house, raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death. If this thou do deny, let our hands part, neither entitled in thy other's heart.
If this, or more than this, I would deny, to flatter up these powers of mine with rest, the sudden hand of death close up mine eye. Hence, hermit then, my heart is in thy breast.
And what to me, my love, and what to me?
You must be purged too. Your sins are racked. You are attaint with faults and perjuries. Therefore, if you my favor mean to get, a 12-month shall you spend, and never rest, but seek the weary beds of sick.
But what to me, my love? But what to me? A wife?
A beard, fair health, and honesty. With threefold love, I wish you all these three.
Oh, shall I say, I thank you, gentle wife?
Not so, my lord. A 12-month and a day, I'll mark no words that smooth-faced wooers say. Come when the king doth to my lady come. Then if I have much love, I'll give you some.
I'll serve thee true and faithful till then.
Yet swear not, lest ye be forsworn again.
What says Maria?
At the 12 months' end, I'll change my black gown for a faithful friend.
I'll stay with patience, but the time is long.
The like are you. Few taller are so young.
Studies, my lady? Mistress, look on me. Behold the window of my heart, mine eye. What humble suit attends thy answer there? Impose some service on me for thy love.
Oft have I heard of you, my lord Berowne, before I saw you, and the world's large tongue proclaims you for a man replete with mocks, full of comparisons and wounding flouts, which you on all estates will execute that lie within the mercy of your wit. To weed this wormwood from your fruitful brain, and therewithal to win me, if you please, without the which I am not to be won, you shall this 12-month term from day to day visit the speechless sick, and still converse with groaning wretches, and your task shall be, with all the fierce endeavor of your wit, to enforce the pained impotent to smile.
To move wild laughter in the throat of death? It cannot be. It's impossible. Mirth cannot move a soul in agony.
Why, that's the way to choke a jibing spirit whose influence is begot of that loose grace shallow, laughing hearers give to fools. A jest's prosperity lies in the ear of him that hears it, never in the tongue of him that makes it. Then if sickly ears deft with the clamors of their own dear groans will hear your idle scorns, continue then, and I will have you and that fault withal. But if they will not, throw away that spirit, and I shall find you empty of that fault, right joyful of your reformation.
A 12-month? Well, befall what will befall. I'll jest a 12-month in a hospital.
My sweet lord, so I take my leave.
No, madam, we will bring you on your way.
Our wooing doth not end like an old play. Jack hath not Jill. These ladies' courtesy might well have made our sport a comedy.
Come, sir, it wants 12-month and a day, and then 'twill end.
That's too long for a play.
The sweet majesty, vouchsafe me.
Was that not Hector?
The worthy knight of Troy.
I will kiss thy royal finger and take leave. I am a votary. I have vowed to Jaquenetta to hold the plough for her sweet love 3 years. But, most esteemed greatness, will you hear the song that should have followed in the end of our show?
Come forth quickly. We will do so.
Hola! Approach!
Bum 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 bum. This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My voice a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love? They say that things just cannot grow beneath the winter snow, or so I have been told. They say we're buried far, just like a distant star I simply cannot hold. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This is my winter song. December never felt so wrong. 'Cause you're not where you belong. Inside my arms. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. I still believe in summer days. The seasons always change and life will find a way. I'll be your harvester of light and send it out tonight so we can start again. Is love alive? Is love alive? Is love alive? This is my winter song. December never felt so wrong. 'Cause you're not where you belong. Inside my arms. This is my winter song to you. The storm is coming soon. It rolls in from the sea. My love, a beacon in the night. My words will be your light to carry you to me. Is love alive? 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 Is love alive?
The words of Mercury are harsh after the songs of Apollo. You that way, we this way.
Come on back, everybody. What a weird, wild, and wacky play. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed our reading of Love's Labour's Lost. Join us again next week, week 15. We're still going.